They say there is a river that never truly follows the same path. Some whisper it chooses who may cross its waters, and who it will keep forever, woven into its timeless current. Along the very edges of our known world, where ancient forests exhale mists into twilight skies, there exist currents that carry more than just sediment and fallen leaves. These are the arteries of the earth, sometimes serene, sometimes raging, but always, always watching. They are the keepers of time, silent witnesses to the birth and death of stars, to the rise and fall of forgotten empires. Within their depths, secrets far older than humanity lie coiled, patient and profound. Imagine a river, not merely as a waterway, but as a living, breathing entity, its surface a shimmering veil between realms. This is the River Aethel. It winds through the forgotten valleys of Eldoria, a place where the very fabric of time seems to hesitate, caught between the whispers of the stone-bound civilizations that came before and the quiet, unending breath of ancient trees. For generations, the people of Eldoria have spoken of the Aethel not just with reverence, but with a profound, almost primal respect. Its waters are said to possess a memory, a liquid consciousness holding the echoes of every soul who has ever touched its banks, every secret spoken into its gentle murmur, every profound sorrow shed upon its inexorable passage. The old ones, with eyes like polished river stones and voices like the rustling of autumn leaves, recount tales of the Aethel's sacred heart, its hidden springs. These were not mere sources of water, but places of pilgrimage, where the veil between worlds thinned to a fragile membrane. Here, the water ran clear as liquid starlight, and it was said that one could glimpse the wisdom of ancestors in the swirling patterns, or hear prophecies in the soft bubbling of the earth. Young lovers would carve their initials not into trees, but into flat river stones, believing the Aethel would bless their union with an eternity as constant as its own flow. Warriors, their hands and hearts heavy with conflict, would cast their broken blades into its deepest, coldest pools, seeking a purification that no other rite could offer. The river was a conduit, a confessor, a silent, all-knowing sanctuary. But like all things of profound power, the Aethel possesses a fearsome duality. Its placid tranquility, a perfect mirror to the endless sky, can shatter in an instant, revealing a turbulent, destructive force that scours the landscape. Legends speak of the Great Scour, an event centuries ago when, for no discernible reason, no storm, no earthquake, the Aethel swelled and raged, its waters turning the color of bruised twilight. It did not just flood the valley. It seemed to intelligently reroute its own course, sparing the oldest ceremonial stones, but completely erasing a burgeoning, arrogant settlement that had begun to take the river's gifts for granted. The survivors said it was as if the river was reminding them of its sovereignty. This untamed nature gives a darker context to the hushed stories, told only in the deepest corners of village hearths, of the sudden, unexplained disappearances. Travelers, merchants, and even local children, lured by the river's serene beauty, would vanish without a single trace. Their footsteps, imprinted in the soft mud of the bank, would simply cease at the water's edge, leaving only the unsettling, profound quiet of the forest in their wake. There was never a struggle, never a cry, just a sudden, complete emptiness where a life had once been. The most famous of these tales, the one that truly defines Eldoria's relationship with the river, is the story of Elara. She was a young woman, known for her luminous spirit, said to be able to understand the language of the wind and the trees. She felt the Aethel not as a force, but as a friend. She would spend her days by its side, humming ancient melodies taught by her grandmother, weaving intricate wreaths of moonpetal and sunfern to cast upon its current as offerings. One autumn evening, as the sun bled a deep crimson into the horizon, casting long, dancing shadows, Elara ventured to her favorite spot, a secluded cove where a great willow wept into the water. She was never seen again. Her family and the entire village searched for weeks, their desperate calls echoing through the uncaring woods. The Aethel offered no answers. Its surface remained placid, its current steady. The only clue, found days later and miles downstream, was a single, perfectly preserved wreath of moon petal and sun fern, floating gently in an eddy, untouched by the current, as if it had been placed there only a moment before. Many believed the river had claimed her, not in an act of anger, but in a silent, mysterious embrace, drawing her luminous spirit into its own timeless memory. An old skeptic named Kale, a man who had lost his own brother to the river years before, argued it was a hidden undertow, a simple, tragic accident. But even he could not explain how the wreath remained so perfect, so pristine. Was it a monster lurking beneath the surface? A hidden current dragging the unwary into watery graves? Or was it something far more profound, something woven into the very fabric of Eldoria's existence? The whispers evolved over generations. Some said the Aethel was a sentient guardian, a silent protector of ancient knowledge hidden deep within the earth, and those who came too close to its true nature, like the pure-hearted Elara, were simply absorbed, becoming part of its eternal consciousness. Others believed the river was a passage, a flowing, shimmering portal to another dimension, and those who disappeared had merely stepped through, leaving this world for one of greater peace, or perhaps of greater sorrow. The most unsettling theory, however, the one that makes the folk of Eldoria watch their words by the riverbank, revolves around its perceived role as a keeper of secrets. It is believed that if a secret, particularly a dark, heavy, or profound one, is whispered into the Aethel, the river will accept it, pulling it down into its depths to be guarded fiercely for eternity. But sometimes, the river demands a price for its silence. A life, a memory, a piece of one's soul, traded for the eternal keeping of a truth too heavy for the world to bear. Perhaps those who vanished were not victims, but offerings. Perhaps Elara wasn't taken, but given, a sacrifice made by an ancestor long ago to conceal a terrible truth, the debt finally called in. Think of the river as a metaphor for time itself. Time flows relentlessly forward, yet it carries the entire weight of all that has passed. It is calm and predictable in our daily lives, yet it can bring sudden, unforeseen change that alters everything. It erodes mountains and carves canyons. Much like a powerful secret can reshape lives and entire histories. The Aethel, in its very essence, embodies this relentless flow and this profound eternal memory. It is a constant, humbling reminder that beneath the surface of tranquility, immense and ancient forces are at play, shaping destinies, guarding truths, and occasionally, claiming those who dare to delve too deeply into its mysteries. As the full moon rises, painting the surface of the Aethel with a ghostly, liquid silver, one cannot help but wonder, what forgotten civilizations once drank from its waters? What ancient, cosmic rituals were performed upon its banks under stars that no longer exist? And what untold stories, what profound and terrible secrets continue to swirl in its unseen currents, waiting for the right moment, or perhaps the right person, to reveal themselves? The river flows on, an eternal enigma, a silent promise that some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but simply to be felt, to be contemplated, as the water continues its endless patient journey, carrying both life and shadow into the vast, silent unknown. It remembers, and it never, ever, truly lets go.